Hello and welcome to Tarot Sherpa. I'm Christine, and today I will be reading tarot for you from the Wandering Star Tarot by Kat Fierce. I have just completed a review of this deck, so if you'd like to see the deck in all of its glory, I will put a link to that video in the description box below. So today I'm going to do a generic reading called the Wandering Star. This is a little bit deeper than a 3-card spread. This is a spread that Kat has in her book that's unique to this deck. Queen of Wands. We're just going to hold her out there. And it's good for just information and guidance. It's just a nice generic spread. So we're going to start with the Queen of Wands as our first card. And that is the Heart of the Matter deck. And here we go. So first card, Queen of Wands. She'll go in the center of our star, the Heart of the Matter. Oh, excuse me, it's allergy season and my nose is itching like crazy. So I'm going to try not to touch my face too much. But if I do, I apologize. Oh my gosh. Yikes. Whew. Eyes are going to water now. Give me a second. Okay. All right. Hmm. Little sneezing fit there. Okay. Back to the Wandering Star Tarot. Back to the Queen of Wands as being the heart of the matter. Now, the Queen of Wands, she is the part of our personality or the person in our lives that helps us find our spark. That's the supportive friend who, when you share your latest big idea, he or she's like, yeah, you should really go for this. I think that's a great idea. Have you thought about this, and this? Um, I can help you with this and that. That kind of person, or the part of yourself that's like, yeah, if I go about it this way, if I have this kind of plan, yeah, I think I can get this kind of result. It's the part of you that's really excited, and not just excited, but has a strategy in mind on how to achieve this. This is the planner. This is the one that's like, okay, yeah, and then what? And the next thing I can do is, and then that's this part of the personality. So the heart of the matter is this inspiration and keeping the fire burning. All right, so what is this dealing with? Okay, next card up is the shadow, a blind spot, potentially preventing your momentum. So let's see what we get here. The star. The star. So the star is healing and hope, it's guidance. And maybe where the blind spot is you don't have a lot of guidance right now and you're looking for it. That's what this Queen of Wands is all about. Finding out what needs to happen next. So let's switch cameras here. All right. So we have our Queen of Wands and we have our star. So maybe lacking guidance is what's kind of slowing you down. All right, so what's your best course of action to reach the desired outcome? And that's the light, and that's going to be the hermit. Notice that the hermit is holding a light, so I find that very appropriate for our question here of where are we going to find our guidance and our momentum, because that's what's developing now. So the hermit, healing, solitude, inner work are our little guide words, our keywords here. And the hermit can mean finding that light within yourself, or it also can be maybe you need a mentor or to talk to somebody who's experienced in whatever this project or this idea is to see where your next step would be most productive, because that's the Queen of Wands is about making productive next steps. So this can be taking some time to really plan, to maybe draw out your ideas, scratch down some notes, make some plans, a business plan. Yeah, this is about kind of digging in and finding your why. Why do you want to do this? What do you expect to get out of it? What are your goals? It's time to get really concrete with that. So we need to go from, hey, this is a great idea, to, all right, how are we going to achieve this idea? All right, card 4, the wound. What core wound that may block your intuition? We have King of Pentacles. And so the King of Pentacles is a successful investor. He's a part of the personality or a person who has taken their resources and employed them appropriately and productively. This is the part of you or a person in your life that's had investments play out really, really well. There's accomplishment, success, and so what may be blocking you is maybe you have tried things in the past that haven't been so successful. So you're a little concerned about how are you going to make this a success? Is this just going to be a waste of your time and money and energy? Is it going to be a waste of your emotions? That's what you're concerned about right here is how successful, what's the potential? What's the success potential of this endeavor? Okay. The sway, an external influence that needs evaluating. Card 5. Four of Wands. So, Four of Wands is usually a very stable card. It's about manifesting positive relationships often, about freedom, about liberation, coming through maybe some hard times to a successful place, not necessarily an ending, but just a new foundation that you can then progress on. So, let's see. An external influence that needs evaluating. This could be your home life or your everyday life that you may need to make some adjustments. You may need to do things a little bit differently. This isn't like really a radical transformation card. This is like a subtle nudge kind of card. This is just a little tweak of your everyday life that you need to make room maybe for working on this project. And it may not mean like changing everything in your life, but there may be some things that you have to make some small adjustments for. And that will affect the other people in your life, so you kind of need to get their buy-in a little bit on whatever you're working on, whether it's a project, a hobby, a new endeavor. It could be even like changing jobs, that kind of thing. Um, yeah, this is definitely a earthly card, but this is ideas, and these are major arcana cards. This is, kind of finding that guidance is a big deal for you. All right. An unexpected guide for your journey, card 6, Three of Wands. So we had the Four of Wands here. We have the Three of Wands now here. So Three of Wands is, she's got her binoculars here. And this is all about kind of keeping your eye on the horizon, finding those opportunities, uh, putting kind of a little bit of the law of attraction, sort of putting the idea out there that you of what you want, very specifically what you want to achieve, having some very definite goals in mind, and then kind of aligning your energy with those goals, having positive expectation of success. So while you may be a little gun shy up here, having that positive expectation of being able to really make this work is entirely appropriate. Outcome for your higher good, Nine of Wands. And so our Nine of Wands is usually a card that means kind of stick to your guns even when it's hard. Stick with it even through the tough spots. You've got to kind of, even when you may not feel like you're getting a lot of support, you kind of got to draw on your inner Queen of Wands to keep yourself fired up and motivated, because a lot of times right when you get to the most difficult point of a project, like on the other side of that is your major breakthrough. It's where you're really able to achieve the goals that you have in mind and the things that you're excited about, motivated. So, yeah, the general guidance here is to stick with it, to kind of keep Nine of Wands is a lot about boundaries. And so this is telling me that you need to create that space where you need to keep working on this project, whatever it happens to be for you, and not be discouraged when the going gets tough, because the going will get tough. It always does. That's how we grow. You know, you have to have these challenges in order to be able to move forward. And it's not overwhelming, it's just something you need to be aware of and keep pressing forward. And do avail if you can find somebody who's kind of done something similar, a mentor, a guide, somebody who can relate to this experience even indirectly. You may be starting a business and you know other people who have started businesses. They're different businesses, but there are some issues and pitfalls that are common to all businesses. Um, just having known plenty of business owners, it always takes way more time than you think it's going to take. Whatever the project is, whether it's hiring new people or getting your idea off the ground or getting your permits or whatever you need in your project, it's always going to take you longer than you think. But having somebody who's experienced something similar, that can maybe even just give you that pep talk that you need, reaching out, and that could be also joining organizations or unions, guilds, something like that, support group where you can kind of talk through the various issues you might be facing in this project and get maybe some perspective that you could use to help you keep moving forward with this, because yeah, it gets there's a certain amount of constriction with the Nine of Wands. You're kind of hemmed in a little bit, but then that's the point where you're going to be able to make your breakthrough. You don't get a breakthrough unless you have something to break through. You understand? Get where I'm going with that? Okay. All right. So this has been the Wandering Star Tarot. This has been the Wandering Star Spread. If you like this video, please hit like. If you like this type of content, please subscribe. Yeah. And so many of my readings are just, keep moving forward. I try to be encouraging to people. I do have every once in a while get a cease and desist kind of message, but that's not what's coming through here. We're just your breakthrough's possible. It's just you have to keep working at it, and then finding a little bit of guidance will help you channel your resources in the best possible way. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.